toroids are one of the most bizarre corners of the poi world. But what if I told you they had the potential to help save your shoulders? Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. And today, I want to talk about a weird curiosity of toroids that I stumbled across a couple years ago, and why it might have some relevance to those of you who are fighting shoulder injuries. But before we dive in, I want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Fire Mecca, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Juggling Calling, Pyroterra Light Toys, Spin Balls, and Ultra Poi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all of these awesome companies and the work that they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I have down in the description of this video. And special thanks to the non-business friends of the channel, Lei Muczynski and Becca Bekkonen. Thank you both so much for supporting my channel, my work, and my mission. Alright, so I have done a bunch of videos on my channel now outlining different techniques for creating toroids, but this in particular is a use for toroids that didn't exist when I first started doing them. It's something I came across accidentally, actually. There's a way that you can switch timing and direction using toroids in a way that doesn't put as much wear and tear on your shoulders as you do when you're doing stalls. Now, granted, I need to say up front, this is not going to save you from all shoulder injuries, but it does carry a lot of potential within it. So let's take a look at what normally happens when we change timing and direction with our poi. So normally when I want to switch back and forth between, say, split time, same direction, and together opposites, I need to insert either a stall or a pendulum, basically some kind of 0 point that's going to give me access to be able to change the direction that the poi are spinning in. Now, whenever we perform stalls, we by default are kind of absorbing a lot of the momentum of the poi into our arms and shoulders. I don't know about you all, but especially when I'm doing really rapid stalls back and forth, I can definitely feel the impact up in here. Shoulder injuries, of course, are a relatively common thing in the poi world, and they're something that have stopped a lot of people's careers. So I definitely was interested when I recognized that there was a different way to change timing and direction that spectacularly does not require putting the same strain on our shoulders. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. As I'm spinning my poi clockwise in wall plane here, I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to working in a horizontal plane. Now notice that the way I'm doing this is I'm using a plane bend rather than a plane break to get there. This is important. When I do this using a plane bend, I'm keeping the natural momentum of the poi there. I'm just redirecting it. Now, from here, I have the option to drop that poi down behind me, and you'll notice the direction of the poi relative to me seems to have changed since it was in front of me. Rather than being clockwise relative to me, it is now counterclockwise relative to me. If I bend the poi back over in front of myself, guess what? I've accomplished a direction change with the poi by using its own momentum to change the direction of it. Let me show you this from the side here, because I think it's kind of difficult to grasp what I'm talking about. I'll also throw on some trails here so you can see what's going on. So from right here, I'm going to go ahead and let the momentum of the poi guide it straight out when it's at the top of its arc. Now I'm going to go ahead and let it drop when it's over back behind me, and use a regular old plane bend and cross point to bring it over in front of me. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm moving the poi through 3 different plane orientations in really rapid succession. And the fact that it's an odd number of plane orientations means that inevitably in the process, I'm changing the direction the poi is spinning in as well. But wait, you say, does that actually qualify as a toroid? And actually, yes it does. What I'm doing is a different version of the 3-pointed toroid triangle. You'll note back in the tutorial where I broke down what exactly an anti-bend toroid is, I pointed out that whenever we perform a toroid with an odd number of points, and of course the toroid triangle being one of them, we wind up switching the direction of the poi as well. Look at this from the side. It's basically identical to the pattern that I just showed you. It's just that I happen to be repeating it instead of stopping it. So why is this a big deal? Basically because if I'm just redirecting the momentum of the poi, it doesn't have the same kind of wear and tear on my shoulders as when I'm performing a stall and having to absorb all the momentum in the poi. If I just redirect it, all I'm doing is gently pushing it in a new direction, and that saves a lot of wear and tear on my shoulders. So let me show you a demonstration of this. I can be spinning the poi in split time, same direction, and then decide I'm going to switch it up. And look at that. That happened so fast and so slick it barely registered. Likewise, I can switch back, and again, I've managed to make a timing and direction change that is nearly invisible, number one, and number two, it's barely putting any kind of effort on my shoulders in order to make it happen. Let me show you that from the side here. So I'm spinning around in split time, same direction, and when I want to, I can go ahead and whoop, switch it around into split time opposites. Again, I can switch it around and bring myself into split time, same direction. Quick and easy. The one and only risk here is that there's a slight possibility that you might get your hand underneath your shoulder, which can lead to shoulder injuries. But at the same time, this is the kind of movement that I think you can very easily do without making that risk happen. So this is the kind of thing that we're going to want to drill with each hand going each direction. So with the right hand, I'm spinning it clockwise, and I can very easily shift it into spinning counterclockwise relative to me. From counterclockwise, I can likewise go back into clockwise. Interestingly enough, you can think of there being a shape that is underneath your shoulder and a shape that's over your shoulder. So as I'm spinning the poi clockwise here, I can do the under the shoulder shape, or I can do the over the shoulder shape, like so. Each of these things is an option for me, depending upon how much wear and tear I want to put on my shoulders and where exactly I want to do the transition. Likewise, we want to practice doing these exact same things with the left hand over on the left-hand side. So I know this looks a little bit weird, but try it out for yourself. It also feels really smooth from where I'm sitting. It's a type of transition that I was not expecting, that I also have to say just does some pretty amazing things, both visually as well as physically. So I'd love to see more people out there playing with it. Did you get anything out of this video? Please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to help other people find it, and of course, to help the channel grow. This video would not be possible without the kind support of all of these lovely people right here. These are my Flow patrons over on Patreon. They and the people listed down in the description help to make this video and all the videos on this channel possible. Thank you all so very much for your very generous support. And if you out there watching are not currently a supporter but you would like to become one, you can do that by heading on over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and signing up. There you can get access to a whole host of awesome rewards, but even better than that, you'll be helping me out in my mission to bring poi spinning and flow arts to the whole wide world. So go check that out, please and thank you. If you'd like to check out some of my other videos on toroids, and why wouldn't you, I'm going to go ahead and include a playlist of those videos down in the description, as well as up here on screen if you are watching on YouTube. Also, the YouTube algorithm thinks that you might like this top video here based upon your past viewing habits, so maybe give that a look as well. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to get out and flow today, and I'll see you with a new video real soon. Peace.